Hey y'all, happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm Taylor Chandler, licensed marriage and family therapist, personal development coach, y'all. I have a special guest for us today. I'm going to let her introduce herself in just a moment, and I'm going to bring Instagram on so they can join us. If you're on Instagram, pop on over to YouTube so that you can join us in the chat because we can only see the chat that's on YouTube. Y'all, today we're talking about Love After Lockup. Okay, we're talking about y'all hear Coco. You know she does this every single time. I'm about to go live. Every single time I go live, Coco makes an appearance. So you might hear her in the background a little bit. We're going to talk about what's going on with criminals and culture. Okay, we're talking about accountability. We want to talk about this balance between accountability and humanity. Y'all probably know that I tend to lean towards responsibility and just do whatever you need to do in order to get where you need to go. And I think it's really important that we hear from people who are more intentional about making sure we understand what's going on systemically with people. It's a good reminder, a good balancer for me. And I think it's really important for us for us to do this. One thing that I want to be mindful of in this work is not going whenever someone goes too far in one direction, it can get real wild. Okay. And what I mean by that is it can get really narrow minded and we can get really rigid. And what that ends up doing, we develop like prejudices and we develop biases and we develop really unlikable attitudes towards people, and it's really not funny. But it's true, we really can develop like unlikable attitudes towards whole groups of people when we're so sometimes we're just, let me speak for myself, sometimes I it can just be so focused on getting to a goal that I miss or dismiss some systemic things, some contextual things. I tap that button, I try to tap that button, but the reality is I am so responsibility and so push what you can do that I don't have as much of that on the contextual side and on the systemic side. I just don't, but some people do. And that's why I want to bring her. She is a licensed clinical social worker. I'm going to bring Tireeka on in just a moment, and she's going to talk to us today. We're going to talk about Love After Lockup. We've got a lead attorney reel that we're going to look at, and we're going to look at one of hers as well. I'm going to pull up the chat so I can make sure I can see what y'all are doing, and then we'll get started. If you're on Instagram, pop into YouTube. It's linked in my story and linked in my bio so that I can see you in the chat. All right, Tireeka, let's bring you on.
Hi.
Hi. Hey. How are
I-
you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Good. I'm well. I'm excellent. I'm really good.
Good.
You're on the West Coast, right?
Yes.
Okay, so beautiful weather, right?
Actually, since we last spoke, which was years ago, I moved back to
Yeah.
Oregon. And then
Okay, yes.
again, I was in California, and then I moved back to Oregon again. So I'm
Okay, okay.
here because the work that is, I feel like will allow me to be a bit more transformative starts here, and then I can move it everywhere else.
What is it about Oregon?
Don't nobody look like us here. So
Mm-hmm.
there's, as far when it comes to providing culturally specific support or
Mm-hmm.
understanding culture here, especially when it comes to Black and Brown people in
Mm-hmm.
incarceration, there's not many support. Just to speak on myself as a forensic evaluator, well, let me get into myself first.
Yes, yes.
I'm a forensic evaluator. I operate a
Mm-hmm.
forensic private practice, which is very different from the day to day private practice that most people here that we get into as clinicians.
Mm-hmm.
And my focus is reentry, supporting individuals while they're reentering society, and really working hand in hand with courts, agencies, and attorneys, and even the individuals themselves and families.
Excellent. So it's very, very important work. I mean, very important work. I know that's an understatement, really, but I appreciate what you do. I know that those kinds of careers are challenging careers. It's a challenging environment,
Right, right.
and everyone can't do it. And so certainly appreciate it. And there's a lot of things that social workers do in the background of society that people don't know about.
Mm-mm.
So I really appreciate you giving us that nutshell. I'm gonna pop up your I'm gonna pop up your Instagram real quick.
Okay.
You also create content. Can you talk to them real quick while I pull this up about like what your content is about?
Yeah, so primarily I'm on TikTok. I really blew up on
Okay.
there as far as providing insight as to how to be a social worker, how to be a real effective social worker, because there's
Mm-hmm.
still confusion. I mean, look at the profession not being a professional degree anymore to
Mm-hmm.
as to many reasons as to why. But it's really just educating social workers to let them know that there is more to just being a social worker. You can do things like myself working in forensics. You don't have to do clinical work all the time. You could do macro work. So that's what took me
Mm-hmm.
off, blew me up on there, and also showcasing that we can actually make money in this field. And then I
Mm-hmm.
started to transfer that same thing to Instagram as well.
Okay, great. So you're on TikTok. That's your home, more of your home base.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let me pop up your Instagram real quick. This is you. Okay, so y'all check her out. Get on her Instagram. I didn't pull is your TikTok the same handle?
It's pretty much the same. Yeah. Yeah. Because
Okay.
remember, it used to be healing is a vibe. And then I said, okay,
Yes.
I already got articles written with the tagline
Mm-hmm.
social guru. So I had to go ahead and make the switch.
Okay, great. Yeah, healing is a vibe. So yeah, before we get into our first clip, we're gonna do the lead attorney clip first. Um, but we met on Instagram like years ago.
Years ago, before the pandemic. Before the
Oh
pandemic.
my gosh.
Oh,
That's so sweet. So it's like what? Maybe it gotta be 6 years, probably 6 years
gotta
ago.
be. Yes, for sure.
Wow. Yeah, that's I mean, the internet has changed
Yes.
since we first met on there.
You too. I mean, even the growth. I say
Yeah.
that all the time. We can definitely see when people have put that what you're speaking on is not
Mm,
far removed from who you are as a person. So I just wanted to
mm.
highlight that it's very true to you, and I'm grateful for what you've been putting out as content and support to the
Thank
community.
you. Thank you. It's really cool how the internet isn't always like a terrible place. Like you really can make these connections. I
Right.
mean, it's amazing that been 6 years since we first met on there. We've had different conversations, and it's cool to see how you've changed and like what you've been doing. And I've been seeing in the background this whole time. And
Yeah.
now we're here. So really good. I appreciate you being here. The tone of our conversation is about to change a little bit as we pull this first clip up.
Right.
I'm not going to say anything about it. I'll just go ahead and put it on screen and then we'll get into it.
No, no.
Oh, oh, she's running. She's running. She's pregnant.
Stop.
Oh my God.
Police responded to a report of two women trying to steal from Walmart.
Here we go.
All right, go ahead and put your hands behind your back.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What did I do? Put your hands behind your back. What happened? Put your hands behind your back. Palms together like you're praying.
All right, she's not resisting.
Come here.
That's rare.
Come here. Turn around. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Put your palms together like you're praying.
Grab my purse off the
Again, you listen to me. You listen to me. Not her.
when we get a chance, somebody gonna be able to know why we get me.
Yeah. We're gonna go in the office and I'll let you know.
What did they
I
steal?
walk too fast, I'm pregnant.
All righty, of course. One of these women is pregnant. Guys, at the beginning of my career when I handled criminal cases, 40 to 50% of my female clients were pregnant. They were always pregnant. It was like these babies were turning women into thieves.
It was almost $1,200 last time, wasn't it?
$1,200?
Easily a felony that I can still file warrants on. The last amount that you guys pushed out, almost $1,200. Just because we don't get you the first time doesn't mean you won't get you the second time or the third time. Nope, 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 nope.
Oh, oh, she's running. She's running. She's pregnant.
Stop! You're gonna get pepper spray.
She's pregnant. Oh my God.
No, I can't go to jail, please. I can't go to
Oh my God. She's pregnant.
please don't take me.
Hey, go get my radio.
Why would she do that to her baby?
I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. You record her. Record her. She hit me. Record her. Cause I'm pregnant.
Oh my God.
Your hands behind your back.
She's a pregnant George Floyd.
Back.
The suspect was charged with multiple crimes, including felony escape.
Ooh.
She has a criminal record in the same county consisting of multiple violent offenses. She bonded out and ended up pleading guilty. In the end, she was ordered to complete 3 years of probation. She was also ordered to pay the court $900, which hasn't been done.
She got no days. The judge gave her a pure probation sentence. In addition to that sweetheart deal, the judge says, hey, you only got to pay $900. She hasn't paid, of course. What do you think? Is this true justice in our country? If you were the judge in this case, what sentence would you have given her?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Whoa. Okay. Now, what I should have put on here first was, and I put it on Instagram. I should have put the trigger warning up. So I'm sorry for anyone if that was shocking, because I should have done what I did on Instagram and started with a trigger warning because of the nature of the video. So I want to acknowledge that. Tireeka, you work as a forensic evaluator. You deal with people who have committed crimes. You help to advocate for them. So that is the relevance of the clip to our conversation. So I wanted to bring that in. What immediately stands out to you in this clip? Tell me your thoughts.
My first thought was as a social worker, why didn't you ask for resources if you need them? There's so much resources for pregnant women, expecting mothers, expecting fathers, that people can just simply ask either their doctor or their
Did she freeze? Okay.
Am I still here?
Okay, there you are. Yeah.
There's just so much. There's more resources out there for people who need them, and they'll be happy to give them to you. There's so many initiatives in the community, from doulas giving out items. That was the first thought, because of course the social worker in me just wanted to say, like, why didn't you just ask for a resource? The second thought was,
sorry, you go ahead. You go.
No,
we're too polite.
I'll jump to the other one.
Okay. So, why wouldn't someone ask? Like anything that you've heard of? Like, if you ever asked someone that question?
Yeah, pride. The thought of, I don't want something that's going to be hand me down. And majority of the stuff that we have acquired, the things that I've seen, are brand spanking new. A lot of these organizations get donations that have never been used. We as social workers cannot provide things that, in most cases, we can't give things that are secondhand. And if it's secondhand, then it needs to be gently used. And we personally have to wash the items before we even hand them out. And so the fact that and it's also not public, known knowledge. And I say this all the time, we have these outreach individuals, and I put quotations around it because they're called outreach support of whatever case may be, whether it's outreach for mothers, outreach for people re-entering society, but they're not actually outreaching. They're behind the computer, they're behind the office spaces saying, I hope someone actually comes in and gets a resource. That's not how I'm made. So I feel like you have to be actually outside, letting the public know what's available by going to schools, going to the hospitals, and leaving flyers, so that way parents and fathers or mothers can be able to access this information, even the grandmothers as well.
Okay, so like pride might get in the way, and then them just not knowing. So that might be why she didn't ask. Okay, continue on. What are your impressions of that video?
So the next one that I had was the deal that she actually received, which is just simply probation, no time served, and just $900 to pay. That lets me know whoever was on her team was able to negotiate and mitigate for her not to go to prison or jail. And they gave her this alternative. Usually when someone is presented with an alternative sentence, the person evaluating them should be letting them know, hey, this is an alternative. If you don't abide by this, we don't know what's going to happen to you afterwards. The judge, it's up to the court's discretion as to whether or not they're going to circle back if you don't pay what the fines or necessarily complete what you're supposed to be completing. So that was my next point. And it also signaled to me that this might not be a one-time thing. And I know that's not typically what people want to hear about a pregnant woman, but if we put pregnancy aside, it might happen again, because what the conditions that she was given is really a sweet deal versus she shouted out she doesn't want to go to jail and they gave her that. And so we're here.
Are you saying that it might probably it's probably been done before just because of like the likelihood of like this just probably isn't her first time, just probability?
Right. Even with the officer, how the officer handled it, it was very critical because once she said she was, the officer tried to be as calm as possible in moving her and her friend along, just to have a conversation with them, not in the public of Walmart. But then also, even once she told the officer that I'm pregnant, the officer tried to handle it the best way they potentially could, because at that point, you kind of, it's a lose-lose situation. Once someone says that they're pregnant and they're involved in a crime and an officer is involved, if the officer touches them or places contact on them, it could potentially harm the individual, thus harming the baby. And then the second thing is she already mentioned in the video that we may not be able to catch you the first time or the second time. And at that point, they already mentioned that she's been caught before, from what I gather from the video, that they knew that she has stolen before, but they just didn't catch her.
You know what I'm surprised you didn't say?
Oh, I'm not.
Oh, you have more?
Yeah.
Okay, hit them real quick.
Okay. All right. Running away from the scene. And then the last thing is shouting out that she's pregnant, and that start recording her. And at that point, it's, of course, people around, when they see someone running outside, seeing a pregnant woman and having the pregnant woman screaming out, "I'm pregnant, she hit me," and then bringing out if somebody record her, my instant thought was, look how quickly someone can have a false narrative on what actually took place. That was my initial thought as well, kind of going into this. Taylor.
I was expecting, you know what I was expecting? I was expecting you to say something about the lead attorney's tone and his language and the way that this was framed.
I bleeped him out because I've worked around attorneys that talk like that constantly. And to me, I felt like it was just theatrics for the video.
How do you interpret the way that he framed it? And what what is this like attorney like kind of tone, language, or rhetoric? Like
it's more so not really uplifting the person. To me, it didn't really look like it was really. It was more so like, oh, here we go again. Here's the situation. And I've heard that time and time again from attorneys, to where they just sound burnt out, but also wanting to have comedic relief at the same time. But it didn't. I just naturally tuned him out and just focused on how to support the individual, because that's my job as a day-to-day. Even though I'm supporting, the attorney is reaching out to me, I'm having a one-to-one, that heart-to-heart with the person in front of me. So that's why I focused on how she got the deal. I said, I wonder who was on her case to support her with that, because it's not just the attorney, it's everybody on the back end that has to support to get her the results that she needs, or the outcome that she's hoping for. But his tone seemed burnt out. That's the best.
Let's hear it. I'm gonna pull it back up for anybody that popped in here and doesn't know what we're talking about. I'm gonna pull it back up. Oh, let me do the right thing. It's a trigger warning, y'all. So if you didn't see the video the first time, it's a trigger warning. Just know that this is a hostile interaction between a pregnant woman, and the police.
No.
Oh, oh, she's running. She's running. She's pregnant. Oh my God.
Police responded to a report of 2 women trying to steal from Walmart.
Here we go.
All right, go ahead and put your hands behind your back.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Put your hands behind your back.
What happened?
Put your hands behind your back. Palms together like you're praying.
All right, she's not resisting.
Come here.
That's rare.
Come here. Turn around. Hands behind your back.
So I just you had a reaction to that, right?
Yeah. Continue. Hands behind your back. Put your palms together like you're praying.
Grab my purse off the
Again, you listen to me. You listen to me. Not her.
when we get a chance, somebody gonna be able to know why we get me.
Yeah. We're gonna go in the office and I'll let you know.
What did they steal?
I want too fast, I'm pregnant.
All righty. Of course, one of these women is pregnant. Guys, at the beginning of my career, when I handled criminal cases, 40 to 50% of my female clients were pregnant. They were always pregnant. It was like these babies were turning women into thieves.
It was almost
I mean, that stood out to me.
$8 last time, wasn't it?
$1,200?
Easily a felony that I can still file warrants on. The last amount that you guys pushed out, almost $1,200. Just because we don't get you the first time doesn't mean you won't get you the second time or the third time. Nope.
Oh, oh, she's running. She's running. She's pregnant.
Stop! You're gonna get pepper sprayed.
She's pregnant. Oh my God. Oh my God. She's pregnant.
Please don't take me.
Hey, go get my radio.
Why would she do that to her baby?
Right, so that there's a framing there, right? So it's not like, why did the police officer tackle? It's why would she run? And I get it, but so that stood out to me as well. There's a framing there.
I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. You record her. Record her. She hit me. Record her.
That's what you were saying about how soon a narrative can turn.
Yes.
Cause I'm pregnant and I can't breathe.
Oh my God.
Get hands behind your back.
She's a pregnant George Floyd.
Behind your back.
The suspect was
That's-
charged with multiple
There's that.
crimes,
Okay, we're
including
going-
felony escape.
Ooh.
She has a criminal record in the same county consisting of multiple
my
violent
God.
offenses.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it there since that's the end of the video. So let me pull you back. You know, I have two things that really stand out to me. One, I have an assumption sometimes about people who are in mental health in general about being too soft on people. When I heard your first notes on your first impressions on the video, I thought, oh, she's not just like conceding to the woman. And so that to me is interesting.
Right. So
Do people typically have that kind of like assumption that I would have that I have about
Yes.
people that are in mental health and social workers maybe especially?
yes, because it's not wrong. I think being in this field, I have to see both sides. I have to see from all angles. I have to, even when I write, I can't just pretend that records don't exist prior to me being in the play. So I have to acknowledge that even in my writing, I say, yes, not verbatim. Yes, I acknowledge these happen, but saying it in a way that we know this exists. But the work that I do, I have to balance the duality of it all. I have to be able to see it for the full picture and not hold one or the other to be greater. It's at the end of the day, what's right and what's wrong, and then humanity and accountability at the same time, which is the restorative justice model, which is something that's up and coming, that we've all been talking for years to bring into play, and now that's something today.
I wonder if other people think that people in social work or people who would say that they're advocates are overly indexed, like overly biased towards almost like making excuses for people.
Yeah, I've seen
Like
it.
making excuses. Okay. So that is a thing that happens.
Yes, I've seen it. It definitely does happen, and I've come across different individuals in the field that didn't like
Mm-hmm.
me because I brought the duality to the table. It's like, well, let's just be honest, because it's only going to benefit the individual in front of us to have true impactful results versus us continuously blaming systems by itself.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, I am a part of the system. To say it's the system, it's me too. It's me too. So it's all of us together that have to work as a team to support the individual and seeing themselves in the mirror. But a lot of people will be okay with saying, no, you're okay. We know it's the deputy's fault. We know this, we know that. But in reality, she ran knowing that you were pregnant. I would have this conversation with her. If she were brought into custody, the first things they would have done, and with it being a female officer, she would have already alerted whoever she needed to alert. So that way the doctor was there. And as a social worker that worked in corrections, whenever there was a pregnant lady that got harmed in the process, I would be right there asking them questions and talking to them like they're people, not just somebody that woe is me. No, this person did something, and I would say openly to them, now you know you shouldn't have ran. And the response that I usually got from somebody was like, yeah, girl, you're right. I've never had nothing outside of that.
Yeah.
But
that
I think
is so good.
Yeah, people are just too scared to tell people what we
Yes.
why I vibe with you, because we just have to say what
That's
needs
good.
to be said. And if it comes off inappropriately or harmful, then we could circle back to that. But at least let's just get it out of our systems to just say it needs to be said, because we're the only people that can say it.
That is really encouraging. I think that's going to that's going to help people to understand that it's not like therapists are not a monolith, right? People are surprised that a therapist is telling the truth, right? They have assumptions about, oh, she's a woman, and so if you do couples therapy, she's going to be biased. But then it's like, no, that's absolutely not the case. So there are people who are going for or have a more objective view, right? And who are actually going for what's right. And I think that's so helpful. And I think we share the same philosophy that essentially, like, whatever is real, whatever is honest, whatever is true is going to be the most helpful.
Yes.
Like, that is what's going to help someone actually turn some stuff around. But when we act like you didn't do it, well, what you did, we saw you do it. Right. That's really good. Yeah, it's really good. And then, of course, there's reasons why people do things, but ultimately we're responsible for our actions. So I really appreciate you breaking it down and helping us to understand your thought process, because there are assumptions that we make, that I make, that people make. And it's so important, like, until you take some time to understand how someone thinks, the assumptions can just go, we just get carried away. We can jump to conclusions. I had a feel, because we've never talked about, when we've talked, we haven't talked about like the process of how we do our work. I just kind of made an assumption that, okay, you're cool with it because I don't know why you would be like, we would be connected still on social media if not. But it's nice to actually like talk through the thought process, because it really is so similar. We really do see things so similarly and how to help people. Let's pop onto this next. Let's pop onto your reel real quick. I think this is gonna help to also give some. Let's see you. It's fun to watch yourself on camera. Trust me.
Exactly. We are reminding courts, agencies, attorneys, and everybody else, DAs, whoever the case may be, that is up against this individual that is in forensics, receiving the forensic evaluation. We are letting them know that they are people, that they are human, they make mistakes, that they need support. That's important. I just sat with someone that literally for the first time in their life is expressing the trauma that they have experienced 50, 60 years ago. It's important work, that gets overlooked because people want to get into the fast movement of evaluations. This work is not fast. It should not be completed quickly. This isn't a quick scheme to make money and do. No, you are actually being held accountable to share someone's story effectively and making sure that people see the human in us again. Exactly. We are
How was it watching yourself? Was it as good as I said?
I enjoy watching myself, you know.
You have to some extent, if you're gonna put all these reels out on TikTok and Instagram, you gotta like it a little bit, you know. You got a great smile, you look great on camera and everything. So so that's always a benefit. The story, because this balance between accountability and humanity, because you just spend some time, and I like that you definitely, this duality is very apparent in the way that you talk and the way that you go about your work. So it's like we just spent some time talking more about the accountability piece. Like, it's like, hey, you did this, you ran, you were pregnant, this is really what happened, you did it. But then you also have this part of your work that's about the context and the story. So can you tell us a bit about just that balance, and like how do you even determine or discern when to push which button?
Yeah. So the best thing is different in therapy. So as you know, even working with couples, and I also work with couples, but when you work with couples, you can kind of gauge which you can bend a little bit and based off of the person in front of you. But for me in forensics and doing an evaluation, I only have 2.5 hours to 3 hours of an interview time to really.
And wait, let me pause because I'm stuck on bend. What do you mean?
Almost like challenge.
Okay.
Not everybody is able to be challenged, and you can sense it based off how they communicate.
Yes, correct.
So if I'm meeting with someone and the first things they say is like, the woes is me, if they're on that tone versus someone saying to me, which I've seen all flavors of tones, and I've seen someone say, I've heard someone say, well, I probably shouldn't have done that. Maybe if I had some help. When they start saying things out of their own mouth, then I know, okay, then you're ready to be challenged with some information. But my role essentially is to just gather information and get context. But the difference between my evaluations and others is that when I gather the context, you're going to also be speaking about what you expect your life to be if there's an alternative sentence. So my role essentially is to mitigate them from going to prison. So whether that's going to rehab, whether that's getting mental health services, whether it's both, whether it's going to a higher level of care like the state hospital, it's really just figuring out what this person actually needs in order to be successful in their life and truly have rehabilitation, versus sitting in a jail or a prison and not really being active in their opportunity. And I don't want to say opportunity, but because there's programs being built in custody, that's a whole nother topic. But because that's happening, it's not really an encouraged activity. So they could just be sitting and not really advancing. So as far as me in the beginning, it's really the cases that I deal with could be criminal, because there's 14 different populations, but the cases that I have the bulk of my work is criminal cases, which is just like the video that we seen earlier. And at that point, I'm reviewing to see, the first thing is, if I talk to the individual and I can't move with them, I'm not going to take the case. Most people would just
move with them.
So if I can't tell your story in a way that demonstrates that you actually want true change and you have accountability, I cannot move with you, because the evaluation itself is going to have that duality of, yes, I had a past, but I want a future. If you don't want to acknowledge that, yes, I have a past, I'm not the evaluator for you. And there's some evaluators that will just focus on we have a future and not set up anything for the future, which I do as well. And then the person re-offends. And then they end up back in custody.
So it's like, okay, being real on the front end helps with the what's the word I'm thinking of? It starts with an R, recidivism.
Recidivism, reentry. Yeah, because some people are also already bailed out. So, and I can meet with them in the community. But for the most part, the goal is for the court to reconsider prison. People steer away from that mentality. It's to it's to move away from the idea of prison.
So three questions. Number one, why? Like why and how does that change based on the type of crime that someone commits? Like,
Yes.
is it always like we should not go to prison, or is it like you
No.
should go to prison and this is why? And then another question, I want to know about Black people. I want to know about oh, it's always a little extra razzle dazzle on us. Okay. So I want to know about, like, okay, we have a forensic evaluator that's here to, give the context in the reel that we just watched with you. You're talking about the person's story, but when it's a Black person, like, how is that? How do you see that being dealt with differently in the court system? Like, right. I want to know about that.
Yes.
And I'll pause right there. I think there's a third one, but I feel like those are two big questions right there. And I think we just need to talk about just like Black people in prison in general. Like, maybe help us to give us a snapshot of what's going on with the Black population and prison.
Yes. So my career has been in corrections. And the first laugh was I applied for a mental health role in a clinic, but when I asked to tour the clinic, it was actually a jail. So since then, I've never really left that space. But when I moved to this state, I was able to see jail and corrections from a different lens of how many people are Black in the community, let alone the state, versus how many are incarcerated. And by Black and brown people being incarcerated, I was overwhelmed working in that jail and seeing how many people looked like me. It was damn near every unit I turned around. And it actually, to be quite honest with you, because I'm from California, jail in California, you got a mixture of everybody, predominantly more Black than anything, but at the same time, you still have a mixture. But where I am right now, it was everybody, damn near everybody in there looked like me. And I was very scared and nervous to the point where I said, I got to think of a way to help individuals that have the ability based on their charges, because there's so many different crimes and so many different charges, but anything that's able to have an alternative sentence because there's something in the community that can support them. And I mean a community swallowing someone up, saying we have you, and supporting them through that process, so that way they don't reoffend or don't go back into custody. That was my ultimate mission. I told people, I can't hold a sign in the front talking about stop the jail. I can't do that. Let me think about what is a logical way to get people, not just myself, to hold a torch or a sign. Y'all need to be holding it. Sorry. You guys need to
I like the energy.
Y'all need to be holding this sign too, because it's very important. I can't just be the only one doing the work. And that's how I do my evaluations. I look them in the eye and I say, you know what? If you want me to support you, I'm telling you, and same when I worked in custody, I only support one good time. If you come back, someone else has to support you. Why? Because I put my all into it in the very beginning. We're working together at the very beginning. Now, that's not to say that I'll never help people, because when people did come back to custody, which was very few on my caseload, because that's how I talk, they came back and I said, what happened? What happened? Oh, I fell into this. Okay, so it sounds like you need this, which was a new thing that they needed on their plan versus before that we didn't have.
Wow.
So just providing prevention now is interesting, because jails and prisons are trying to provide preventative support in custody more so than providing the necessary funding outside of custody. So we're starting to, that's right. And I'm trying to be quiet about that, but that's what's happening right now. And if we all see what's in the community, we're able to help and link people effectively. But when it comes to us, when it comes to us in custody, a lot of us don't get the opportunity to have a forensic evaluation.
Yeah. How does someone get because if someone comes across this and they're like, yo, I want Tireeka on my case because she sound like she gonna help. She sound
Right.
like she gonna get my loved one. She gonna make sure they don't, as best as she can, that they don't go back. She's gonna be real with them. But why doesn't everybody get one? And what could someone do? Like, what does someone need to do to get one? Why do some people get one and some don't? What's that about?
Some people might hear mental health evaluation and say, I don't want that. It's the stigma also that we have still.
Oh, so that's the mental health evaluation?
It's so many different ones. There's mental health, there's mitigation where it's full. And this gonna sound very familiar to a lot of therapists. Our biopsychosocials, our dual diagnosis. There's so many different evaluations.
It all sounds kind of like clinical and like you got to try to fingerprint me and find something else. I could see because forensic evaluation sounds like we're gonna fingerprint you and check and see if we got anything else on you. I could see that is not the best language.
No.
Like that doesn't have a good connotation, positive connotation.
No. So instead, my goal truly is to educate us on the many ways that we can receive support from an attorney. And that's through the evaluation I'm speaking on it, but I have to teach people on the language so that way they know how to ask. Because even working in custody, we talked like this, but at the same time, I'm teaching them the language when they get out or get released from custody. So that way people can understand where they're coming from. Because as you know, people try to act like they don't understand where we're coming from when we're all speaking the same language.
Yeah, so really important that people are educated on like what resources are, what the resource does, it's like not necessarily like their rights, right? But what they have access to, how to ask for it. If someone says no, they know that they can actually like there's something there that it's real and that they can actually get this kind of help. I want to go back to the lead attorney real quick before we go into Love After Lockup. Okay, and then the Love After Lockup will be our last reels that we look at tonight. I'm gonna pull lead right back up. Let's take you down, Mrs.
It out and ended up pleading guilty.
I'm pregnant.
All righty. Of course, one of these women is pregnant. Guys, at the beginning of my career, when I handled criminal cases, 40 to 50% of my female clients were pregnant. They were always pregnant. It was like these babies were turning women into thieves.
I just happened to click right on the right spot. I want to know in a nutshell real quick, the language, because I'm all about calling people out and making sure that everybody knows exactly what's up. Okay, we know that. Okay, but even the language in this reel, it is kind of jarring, right? The video itself, the whole video itself is just a lot going on. But the language really stood out to me, and I was thinking about what I want to ask you is. How does the framing, the language that's being used, what's the impact that can have on people, whether it's just people on social media like us that just see it and we see the video and we hear certain language and we hear certain narratives around the video, and how does it affect how does it affect people's perception of them that are in the system? Like, I wonder, what do you think about that? What's your opinion?
Our language really does matter. So even when it comes to how I write, I'm very careful on how I frame things, and even teaching other clinicians to do the same work. I have them do a practice eval so I can hear how they speak. And when they use words like, oh, this person was aggressive and this happened, it's fine tuning it, because we have to be all of us at the end of the day, trauma-informed care, like we all got some type of trauma going on, so what I mean? So if we understand that and respect that people could hear what we're saying and take that and run with it, him in particular, because the cases that he's talking about is based off when he was a public defender. I get exactly what he's talking about. Now that he's a private attorney, he doesn't have to support cases like that. So he feels that it sounded like it's kind of beneath him. It's not something that he's serving anymore. He doesn't have to serve. But when people hear that and they run with it, that's their forever narrative of us. And I think it's very important for us to remind ourselves that when we're talking about us, other people are also viewing it from their lens, from their background. So when a judge says something about a piece of paper, reading the records, like for example, somebody in the comments said that wasn't it shown that she had a record? Yes, and that's what I'm about. Yes, and why wasn't she supported then for her to have this many, challenges now? But when we're working with people, it's always interesting on trying to change the language of others. They have to be willing to change it as well. So how I change it, and I just always focus on me, is by focusing on how to shift someone's speech and how it's being relayed to the court.
Yeah, because it can influence, because perception really is perception is kind of like reality, right? So when things are framed a certain way and it seeds someone's perception, that can impact the sort of decisions that they make around that person. So I think that is really important to remember. You said something that I thought was good to highlight. You you mentioned like how we talk about ourselves. And it's almost like how if there's someone that are really close to, you're like, oh, well, I could say that to you because you know me and I know you. But then when you think about, oh, like if someone else heard this,
right,
and they don't know me and they don't know you, or even how we're talking online, like I definitely think that is important to remember, because it does affect the way it affects treatment, affects the way that people treat you, affects the way that people perceive you. And I think that that is important to acknowledge. There was something else, the language. As I was watching this and I knew that we were going to be talking, it made me think the way that he was framing it, the way that he was talking about her. Like it's always there are all these pregnant women, the babies turning into thieves, and there were other things. I mean, it was just littered throughout.
It's the
right?
school pipeline thinking.
The
baby's already in the womb.
Yeah, that is really problematic.
Yes.
And I think, and it made me think about, wow, if you were in that situation, like let's say you were in some kind of desperate situation and you were stealing something, not you in particular, but I'm just talking about in general. Someone's in a desperate situation and they steal something for their kids because who knows what's going on? I don't know.
Right.
And I wondered, like, wow, if someone had your video and that's how they were talking about you, or you were in court and the prosecutor was framing you like that, or it was your child, and there are these narratives that someone just grabs it and uses it to kind of frame you in this sarcastic caricature kind of way. What if it was you or someone that you love? Like, I think we can watch this stuff and be sort of like desensitized to it, or even, people can be laughing at it, because like you said at the beginning, he's like saying things theatrically and like kind of for like in a humorous way. Some people do find that kind of thing humorous. I don't, although I understand like kind of where I get where he's coming from. I don't find that stuff funny. But it's like someone can be laughing at it and you think like, wow, if it was you, your child, if it was your cousin, if it was your friend, and someone was framing it like that, it would land a lot differently. I think we'd be thinking of it differently. Any thoughts on that before we move on to the next on these last reels?
That's absolutely correct. But what's interesting is that there's some people that do talk like that in court. I've seen someone that was in like mental health court and they were saying, judge. And it was one of us saying, judge, wait. Didn't even have the opportunity to speak. And the judge was like, okay, we're done. You don't need to talk. It's just very interesting that when you're by yourself in custody without an advocate, without anything. I've heard many different cases where some people are able to, if you just show up with an advocate, we might let you out, versus someone that might look like me. They don't even give that option. So I typically will also show up to court if they don't have nobody, just to be there and just to listen. And it makes a huge difference. It is language. It truly is. And how we communicate with each other and just uplift each other, especially right now.
Wow, this is good, y'all. This is good. Tireeka's checking some people that are be watching this replay. We need to be reminded. We need to be reminded. That's important. It has big implications on the macro level. Tireeka, someone says, hey, and they just followed you. Hey, your favorite MSW, good to see you. All right, y'all, let's move into Love After Lockup, and then we are out of here. We're gonna start with, pull you here.
Outside of prison. Outside of prison.
I just love that he's a real man and he puts the effort in and he wants to be the leader and take charge, and I just love that. So, real man.
Let me get my cell phone.
I'll activate the setup for you.
In prison, they call me. Alright, I'm out here ride with them.
Why?
Breakfast.
Why?
You gonna ride all the way back home here?
You about to have to go for the rest of the day?
You about to be riding all the way home here.
Whatever. What's pissing you off already?
It makes me mad. I've probably spent around $1,200 on Julius.
You know what I'm saying? I got access to the world.
First person you're gonna call.
I'm calling Ashley.
Okay, so he just gets out, they meet outside of prison, then he says he's going to call someone else who is just another woman. Now let's look at this one, and it's like later on in the show.
Now that I'm pregnant, we need to get our together. Now that I'm pregnant, we need to get our together.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think you really need to go ahead and try to get that job and get your license.
You don't need no job. What you talking about? You pick some hours up.
What? I said, what? I don't cut that because I already work full time. What do you mean?
I don't need no job. If I wanna really go get some money, I'll go get some real money right now. I'm not about to be no delivery boy. That's not me.
But we need a job.
I
can't pay my bills and support another human.
You don't support me at all. What do
So
you
I didn't
give me?
support you in prison?
What do you give me now?
A roof over your head, a car to drive.
I got
A car to drive. Okay, then what are you talking about?
You don't support
But that's
me.
what I'm saying. What are you saying?
You like what you talking about?
I bought you
That's all
clothes
you
boxes,
did.
food boxes.
I'm not
Babe, I
saying
need
what
more.
you
You want exactly. So what are you
But I
talking
have
about?
my own money.
Stop that. But you still would support. I had to help you too. So what are you talking about?
You put money on my books. You got me.
Exactly. More than the next one. What are you
That's why
talking
you're
about?
in the position you're in.
But you're not making
about?
sense. You acting like I don't do.
You're in my presence right
that's-
now. What are you talking about?
That stuff just really stresses me out. Which is
Right.
it as a jump off point. Those clips, I just be like, that's a lot. I can only do about 90 seconds. I can only do about 90 seconds, okay? And even that is it's definitely like stressful just to watch the clips. I want to know. I brought Love After Lockup in because it's people really watch the show. The show's been on for a long time, and I want to get an idea from you, like how realistic is that depiction? How realistic is Love After Lockup? Like, is this extreme? Is that normal? Like, how realistic was what we just saw?
That was very realistic. Very. And it's, I've working in custody, I've seen people have a roster in custody of, yes, and say the same things over and over. I mean, we see, I dove a little deeper because I don't watch Love After Lockup. So I dove, dived in a little deeper to kind of understand this couple. And it seems like he's repeating the same exact things to both the women that he was involved with. And I've seen that time and time again. And they're a different person when they're incarcerated. You know what I mean? It's lonely
That
in there.
jail talk.
Yeah. And
lonely and cold.
Right. It's pillow talking. And then, people put money on their books, and
how do they find the people? Are they sneaking phones in? Like, how are they because sometimes they also have access to computers, right? And there are whole websites set up for people to have pen pals. Like, how are they finding people? I'm
a social worker. I cannot confirm or deny. No, I'm just kidding. So when it comes to that, some spaces actually have iPads, like a pad of some sort, that they can actually send emails to people, or some people actually built relationships. There's businesses, or more like organizations, that will create pen pals for people, or talk to them over the phone, or even some people will visit them in person that they don't know. But majority of the time, I mean, even right now, we've seen social media where people are circulating videos of people that are currently incarcerated, and they're looking for someone to talk to. And that's typically how people can get connected, by calling in and asking to speak with that individual based off them seeing a video on them on social media.
The people in jail making videos, putting up reels and stuff. Okay, I haven't seen that. That is interesting. So, have you ever meet the partners of the people that are of the partners of these people?
Yes. So I've met partners, I've met family members, I've met children, and that's all during the reentry phase. I've either called them in advance before they release from custody, and right at the end, if the person is picking them up, I used to walk out and make sure that they had everything they needed.
What's typically going on, nutshell, what's typically going on with a person that would entertain a relationship like this?
Mental health. I would say mental health related to either this person just met them through one of those things, one of those ways of getting together. But to me, for this particular scene, you got to kind of question whether or not this person has high self-esteem, or just acknowledging her self-worth. And I don't mean that to put the young lady down, or to put anybody down that connects with relationships with individuals that are incarcerated, because sometimes there are great stories, sometimes they're not. But in this case, this is not a great story. This young man is leaning on these women to balance him with this make-believe idea that he is successful, when he's actually coming out and depending on two different women to help him sustain what he needs to sustain.
What do you think of the percentages of and those, of course, would just be like of what you've seen, right? Out of all the people that you think you've seen that have a person waiting for them when they get out, about what percentage do you think is actually like a good situation? Like, this is like, it's positive. This is
I would say, I'm always going to lean over the high number. So I would say maybe 65% of those individuals. I'm just going to say that. Why?
Wow.
For partners, I'm going to say that. Now, don't quote me on the statistics, because I just made that number up, but that's based off of just what I've seen so far in the work that I've done.
Okay.
So
the people we just saw would be in the 35%.
Yes.
Okay. So it's uncommon. It's realistic, but it's uncommon.
From the clients that I've served, it's very uncommon.
Okay.
And I say only because I've witnessed many situations where, don't quote me on that. Let's just knock it down.
Okay, it's a high.
Don't give me a percentage.
I would just be surprised. I'd be surprised.
No, don't give me. Let's toss the percentage for everybody, because I know somebody's gonna look it up and say she lying. Let's toss the percentage.
I don't think there's a stat for it. It's just there's a statistic for this.
Let's just look at what I've seen over the course of me working in this field. I have seen relationships where there's an eager spouse that is with someone that's not eager to be with them. I have seen that's being released. I have seen an eager spouse with an eager person that is with them. And I've seen someone not eager, that the person is on the right path that's being released. Because I've heard people say, oh, they just want me, my girlfriend wants me to get out and just hurry up and make a baby with her. And the first thing I said was, you have all these other steps before trying to make a child. It's just going to put you back into the same motion over and over again. It just really all depends on the dynamic of the relationship. But again, we as professionals will never know if we don't ask. And I always ask. I say, do you have someone on the outs? How supportive are they if you were to put on a borrowed suit and tie to go to a job interview? Would they make fun of you? Would they encourage you? Would they drop you off? You can kind of gauge right then and there. And sometimes I have the uncomfortable conversations to say, you know what, is this person that you're with right now is going to hold you back? Or are they going to be a part of the change that you also want to see in your life?
Good questions. Good. And some of y'all need to be asking yourself that question. They don't have to be in jail now. Somebody to ask that question. For the person you sleeping with tonight, you need to ask yourself, is this person about to hold me back? forward. Gonna take you forward. So that's really good. I think that we're gonna wrap right there. We're gonna wrap right there. Tireeka, can you let the people know any last words
Yes.
that you want to share with us? And then, of course, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah. So my last words are: if you have somebody that is incarcerated, whether family member, friend, if you know someone that's on the way of re-entering, it's best to have them have a solid plan. 90 days is where people start to gauge, first of all, the first 72 hours of someone as to whether or not they're going to come back into custody. So I have a guide available on my platforms where you can just click it and download it for free. It's 15 pages and it's very well in depth and something I've been working on for years to make sure that it is well-rounded and reduces stress for the individuals coming back out. So that's something that people could do on their own. You could do it with the person you're with. The person itself could do it. But I really want these systems to understand that it takes more than just giving them a lunch bag and saying, have a good day. So
that is so incredibly helpful. So let them know your Instagram, your TikTok.
Yes. So my Instagram, my TikTok are social work guru, both social, just spelt just like that. And you can catch me on those platforms, kind of balancing between supporting individuals that have been justice impacted, or clinicians themselves, or any professional that's working alongside someone that has been incarcerated.
Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate you and all that you're doing for so many people. I mean, that is incredibly impactful work, and you clearly deeply care. And so I think that I think that this is going to help people that I don't even know about. I know there's got to be someone that watches my content that needs to hear what you've heard today. And so I thank you for sharing everything, for putting all the time and the effort and the care into what you're doing for a population that so often gets totally left behind. And there's so many negative biases and negative connotations on the prison population. And to have someone like you who really cares and leads with your heart and with so much intelligence, I just think that that's really encouraging. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Y'all, good night. Bye, y'all. Stay out of jail now. Bye, y'all. See you. Bye. And